Andy, we are live. We were supposed to be celebrating
Jared out of the chat. I mean, what are you gonna do?
We were supposed to be celebrating Pittsburgh winning the AFC North tonight. Not only is that in serious doubt, the way that they're playing tonight, one wonders if matchups against playoff teams, Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns down the stretch, are the Steelers going to blow this seemingly insurmountable lead after starting 11-0? Is this one of the most ridiculous things you've ever seen?
It easily. I mean, this might trump yesterday. It's Big Ben is not reading. Big Ben, like, you ever mix up your contacts? I don't know. Like he's not seeing. I don't even know if he wears lenses. He's not seeing the people that are open, and then he's like, "I'm going to throw it into triple cover." And by the way,
I mean, this is the jungle, and they are camouflaged. You know, that's why tigers have stripes, is so that they're camouflaged in the jungle. Maybe it's a camouflage thing. Is that crazy?
It could be.
And probably
it's similar to the Dallas Niners game, where it's just, well, I mean, if you keep turning the ball over on your side of the field, the other team's going to score. Doesn't matter who they are. And I mean, 3 turnovers, 17 points, and they haven't got the offense going at all.
Missed a field goal too.
Yeah, they missed a field goal they shouldn't probably have kicked, but I have no idea what to do. And yeah, the Steelers are like -10 in the second half. What are we doing? I kind of want to just take the Bengals and just laugh if the Steelers offense comes back.
Oh no, man. Really?
Bengals +10. How are the Steelers all of a sudden going to get good at offense now? I have no idea how to approach this. Everyone just go home. This is over. No more questions. This is such a fucked game.
You're just in a bad space because you thought you were going to cash that AFC North ticket, and now it's really in jeopardy.
No, it's dead. I've put it out of my mind. But you know what? Let's talk college basketball. 2-0 today. Let's concentrate on the positives. A lot of fun. I did some live betting on the North Texas game. That was fun. Yeah, Big Ben is a liability right now. And what do we have for a second half line? Should we bring him up?
It's Pittsburgh's -10, and they're giving you +113 to back it. You could I don't even know. I think you probably want to sell out to 13.5 because Pittsburgh needs touchdowns, not field goals at this point. So they're going to be trying to score. Yeah, we all want to know. We all want to know what's up with Mason Rudolph. Mason Hodges, Duck Rudolph. What's he up to? Andy doesn't want to rant, unfortunately, but I'll rant a little bit. How about I rant a little bit?
No, here's my rant. What is good? Okay. No. Time out. What the shit is going? Why was it Muppet night? What is that? Like, I got on like, if somebody can explain to me why it's Muppet night. Like, just out of the blue, they're just doing Muppet promos. Like, is there a new Muppet movie? I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I think it's crossover for Disney. Disney Plus. They're trying to sell you Disney Plus.
I like the Christmas Carol one. I like the original one with there's a lot of stars in that.
Yeah.
Telly Savalas.
The Great Muppet Caper was also excellent.
Great, and just Kermit.
Yeah. Hey, okay. So no, real quick. The other, I didn't even really want to entertain this yesterday when we were breaking down what was coming down the stretch here with 2 games left. All of my enthusiasm for capturing a great number on the Ravens is all of a sudden very much in doubt, because if the Steelers lose out here, the Ravens are going to be they can be 11-5 and not make a 17 playoff, which is freaking insane. But that's basically the way it will break if the Colts win out, if the Browns win out, if the Titans win one of their next 2, if the Dolphins win out, right? Like, honestly, like the Bills and the Steelers have the power to keep the Ravens out of the playoffs. And I got to say, if you ask those coaches, gave them truth serum, they would probably say, yes, keep the Ravens out of the playoffs. So that is the situation that is racing through my head right now, as I have all of this equity on Ravens, which may never even we may never even see them take the field for the playoffs. I can't believe it. So yeah, I just need any of those teams take a loss. Please.
So I mean,
Please.
so what did we decide? Did Disney buy the Muppets? Is it going to be on Disney Plus? Can I watch?
Disney's been a Muppet property Muppets have been a Disney property for a long time.
Okay, I just because normally it's
Disney bought them from Henson in, I'm going to say 97-ish.
Oh.
When were the Muppets sold to Disney?
Yeah,
Muppets.
Did you find an alternate line in the second half?
By Disney. I think it's not crazy that the Steelers come back in this one. They're a decent second half team in general, and
good
honestly,
adjustments,
they can't
better
play
coach.
any worse.
Yeah,
they can't play any worse. And speaking of good adjustments, better coach. I don't know what Zach Taylor was doing at the end of that first half. He's just wasting time. Zach Taylor's not a good coach. I would second half Muppets. The Steelers are playing like the fucking Muppets. I'm going to take Steelers -10 at +121. I think it's entirely possible the Steelers pitch a shutout here in the second half over the Bengals. I know that the Steelers defense has been on the field for a lot. They've been out there for a long time. They were gassed in the second half against the Bills. They're looking gassed in this game. They're down men. All of that is true. But this is Ryan Finley, and they're going to lean pretty heavily on Gio Bernard to try to matriculate the ball. I don't see that working in the second half with a couple of adjustments for the Steelers now that they know how unwilling they are to really challenge, with Finley. Oh, they're moving the Steelers price on me.
What did you bet?
They took a oh, man.
I took a...
Come on.
Yeah, let's make the comparisons to the Rams game. Pam just brought that up in the chat. Is this a better offense than the Rams? It's certainly better receivers, but the way they're scheming right now, these receivers aren't open, and the ones that are, he's not throwing to them. Ben basically can't have any more turnovers, which I don't know. He's not only has he had, there's been 3 turnovers. One was a receiver, but the first throw of the game probably should have been an interception. He had a second down pass that was tipped by a linebacker in his hands. Like, he had 3 near interceptions as well. It was sketchy. I played -13.5 +165 small, just because it could be just 21-0. Bengals team total under whatever that is. 7.
I feel less good about them pitching a shutout in the second half than I do Pittsburgh scoring points. Cincinnati's defense is playing up. Yes. The Steelers' offense is playing down. Ben Roethlisberger is having his worst night of the season, and it's not close. His arm is shot. All of this is true, but this Bengals team is pretty horrific. And the Jets-Rams game I don't think is as good a comp because the Jets were coming on a little bit. Obviously, they were played terrible against the Seahawks. That was a very forgettable game, but they were without almost every wide receiver. Like, they were showing signs of life later in the season. The Bengals have gone the exact opposite direction. Since the loss of Joe Burrow, this team has been playing like one of the worst in all years of measuring data, especially this offense. So I think the question is, if you want to know if the Steelers can win or not, can they score 18 points? They're going to go for 2 if they get touchdowns, probably, even though they need 3 scores regardless. I would guess they go for 2. Would you agree?
Yeah. Their starting running back out sucks, but I'm sure they can do something fun along the goal line. Oh,
I don't know. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm fighting.
Let's just make it -10 because not everyone has alternates.
I've been fighting for a price here. Every time it was going up, it was getting beat back down. I ended up with +119. You can still get +112 right now. I don't mind that. It's 7 cents isn't that big of a deal. All right, let's look for the Steelers to come back here.
Yeah, and I have seen a couple people say this just on the timeline and in the chat. They want Rudolph. Like,
that's a possibility too. Oh, you have the Muppets. You're at the Muppet Show. I missed that entirely. When did you get there?
I just switched it.
You just switched it. Okay.
Yeah, and somebody said I can't bet this. I'm staying off. Not the worst game. Not the worst game to do that. Like, just
not
enjoy.
At all.
I don't know what else is on direct. The cornhole is on. There's that. Yeah.
There's a lot of college basketball on, or just work on your model for the NBA season, which tips off tomorrow.
Mason Rudolph is pretty bad too. Yeah, if you want to watch Gonzaga ether a team from like where is Northwestern State? first person can name Northwestern State's conference win something. They are the team from Natchitoches. The team, it's in Louisiana. Somebody helped me out with the other day. Either way, Gonzaga picked up
Northwestern State.
Northwestern State. Gonzaga picked up an extra team or the Southland Conference. There we go. Yeah, they picked up a bonus game against a really low level team. They're a 43-point favorite. So
yeah, okay,
this is pretty good. Wes gets it. Oh, here's a good big second half from Hampton today.
Yeah.
Hampton's the second half team.
All right. Well, let's see if the Steelers can give us a good second half. There was a couple of times last year.
This guy asked, we did. I mean, we did. We're just gonna put -10 up because not everyone has alts or live betting options. Official plays -10, but I played some -13.5 and just to win the game for a real little bit.
I don't mind the +10 because the Steelers could get this within 3 and fiddle fuck around like the Rams did yesterday and not actually come away with the win and lose by 3, right? Like
that's why I went 13.5.
That this is tied at some point, 17-17.
I'm guessing
you got to win.
I'm guessing the 2-point conversions don't go my way and they land on like 13.
I hope that doesn't happen, man. Okay, so real quick, the last thought I had on this game, and really just one other betting market that this ties to, you can pretty much crumple up and throw your Mike Tomlin Coach of the Year ticket in the trash.
Oh yeah, right? I mean a few weeks ago for sure.
Okay, he has done a good job of getting his team riled up when they were down to a dog shit team on prime time before. They did it against the Dolphins last year. They were down 14-10 in that spot. They came back and they just went scorched earth on the Dolphins in the second half. They were losing to the Bengals last year 7-3 at halftime. In fact, that was Ryan Finley started that game, and he had a lead against the Steelers heading into the second half last year in Paul Brown Stadium, and they ended up losing. So maybe history repeats itself here. Steelers are going to need to play a hell of a lot better, though, because that was about the worst half of football I've seen from them in a long time. Who do you think is Coach of the Year now? And if the Dolphins, because the Dolphins lose 1, Ravens win out. I think the Dolphins are on the outside looking in.
Dolphins go 1-1, and if they don't get in, it's harder. It's harder to give it to Flores. And if Washington gets it done, I would think he has a shot. It's Stefanski or Rivera. I think at this point,
Stefanski wins the North. When Stefanski wins the North, it's got to be Kevin.
Yeah, if they win it's just the narrative behind that. They have not won a division since 1989 when it was the AFC Central. Like the narrative behind coming back, beating the Steelers, stumbling over their dicks at the end, and them getting that done would be too much to even for the cancer narrative, even for the winning a crazy division, taking over for a weird team, the Alex Smith comeback player, and all that jazz. So it's and it should be Matt Rule.
It ought to be, favorite. Yeah.
How come no Matt LaFleur talk? It's such an expectation based thing, and when you have Aaron Rodgers, it kind of it tamps down what it feels like you didn't do much. Well, you had Aaron Rodgers. He's an MVP candidate. Like it does kind of ruin the moment for you. Although it's such a weird thing. It's so much based on the year before as well, where the Packers were 13-3 last year.
That's the problem.
Do you remember the Ron Rivera? Ron Rivera won this twice, and one of them was because he was such a horseshit team the year before. Like it was a bad year from them. His team, and then they turned it around the next year and he won it again. It's like, you can't just win it because you were bad last year. Yeah, I don't know how much credit to give LaFleur. Like he's certainly doing something right. It's a good team, but again, at the same time, you do have a Hall of Famer.
He's done a good job in terms of managing Aaron Rodgers. As far as you're the head coach, you're the CEO of the product that's on the field. He's done a good job of getting Aaron Rodgers to buy in. He's getting a good job of scripting plays where Aaron Rodgers is willing to target the second, third, and fourth wide receivers options. He's basically just getting the most out of Aaron Rodgers, which is notable, worth some credit. The coaching on the defensive side of the ball is awful still for Green Bay, but it hasn't mattered yet. But that's probably what undoes them at some point. I would say the expectations is the key when you're handicapping these markets, though.
When you have this duo, you just have to keep them on the field and happy, healthy, health, wealth, and early to bed, early to sleep.
Pittsburgh comes away with a nice stop on the first Bengals drive.
I'm getting news from Western Pennsylvania. Frank, the real Frank Bank.
The real Frank Bank?
Says Mason's warming up, apparently, which he might just be he's a dirty yinzer. He might just be screwing with me.
I'll
you want to talk? You got an NBA? You got an NBA best bet for us tomorrow, Drew?
I made 2 plays for tomorrow. I backed the Lakers at -2. I think the Marcus Morris being out is meaningful as far as an injury goes. I don't know how the Lakers. I don't know how the Clippers are going to defend Anthony Davis in that game. Overall, the Lakers did much better in the offseason in terms of improving their roster than the Clippers did, in my opinion. So I like Lakers -2. I played that at -113 at Bookmaker before a couple hours ago, I guess. And I like the under in the Nets Dubs game. The steam on that was fair off the open. 228 was a hair low, but it's like 230 something crazy now. I think I bet under 233 or something like that. It's just a lot to ask. 2 guys coming off of long layoffs in Durant and Curry to be as to be able to run a full 4 quarters. And there's some depth issues. There's some rotation issues that the Nets are going to have to figure out. I don't think that's an especially clean, high efficiency offensive game. I think that's going to be a little bit more of a slog. And we have some evidence of the Warriors not really coming out of the gate blazing.
I made a banner for you.
Anyway. I played a different number than that. Hang on, I'll tell you.
I know. I had to put up the current numbers because.
Is that the current number? It's down to 231.
It has gotten bet down. So
okay.
I mean, would you still play Lakers at 2.5 if it was a fair flat 2.5?
Yeah. I like -2.5 if you can get that at -110 better than -2 at -113, which is what I played. But I couldn't sell where I was playing, so I didn't. The Warriors pace is Brett makes a fair point. The Warriors pace is fast this year, but I don't know if it's going to be fast on day one. I don't think you really want to put your players at risk this early because I think a lot of week 1 is going to feel like extended preseason here just because we've had such a shortened offseason, shortened preseason. Guys' legs are potentially going to get tired in the second half.
I have a question about that. Like, what did you like as a whole, not just this, because you're kind of talking about this game. As a whole, how are you treating the shortened preseason, starting at a different time? Not only shortened preseason, shortened offseason, shortened some of these players that got traded or moved. They got less time with their new teams to acclimate themselves. I mean, it just game by game or team by team basis, or is there like an overarching theme to this that you have to grab early on the season?
There will be a narrative that is supported by information on totals one way or the other. These are either mispriced high or low, almost certainly. I don't know what the right answer is. My guess is they're high. My guess is we're looking at totals that are too high. Which future? But no, overarching, I think the shortened offseason, the shortened preseason is going to impact rookie head coaches, obviously implementing new systems. It's going to impact, major scheme changes, major, teams with big rotation question marks like the Nets. I think it's going to take them a little while to figure out like how to best utilize their talent or maximize their potential. I don't think you can take a player level model with the Nets players and expect that it's going to be as good as the sum of the parts on day one. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And I think in general, you're going to see conditioning show, kind of rear its ugly head. There's probably an angle on second half unders. I don't know about defensive intensity starting out with no fans. It's going to be tough, but communication will be up. So there are a couple of trade-offs in a lot of this stuff. My underlying thesis, though, is that you're going to see some unders hit early and often in the NBA season.
First contract, Fultz or Kennard? Is it Kennard?
That Kennard one was eye popping.
That's a lot of money for a guy. I don't think I could pick. I don't bet a lot of NBA. I bet Drew stuff, a few other people I trust. I could not pick him out of a lineup. You could put. You could slip some Asian players in there. I wouldn't. I couldn't even tell you like what his first name is or where he's from.
I think the other one that the other one that the Magic signed, Isaacs for. There he goes. There he goes. Oh, come on, Claypool. Claypool should have taken that to the house.
To the step slow. Are you? What's your favorite? Are we one Muppet song from you?
For me, I only know the title song. I think.
None from the movies. Yeah, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Oh, that is Fraggle Rock, motherfucker.
Deontay Johnson. Hey, that guy who started Deontay Johnson that needed 8 points just got it on one play.
Yes.
Congratulations.
All right. I was doing the Fraggle Rock theme. I apologize. That's the
Muppet. That's the Muppet song. Yeah. It's time to start the music. It's time to hit the lights.
Hit the show.
Yeah, there you go. Touchdown Muppets. Touchdown Muppets. Let's fucking go.
Touchdown Muppets. Someday we'll find it. The Rainbow Connection.
I know that one. I know that it's not easy being green. Isn't that
it's
not easy being green is a Kermit song, right?
Yeah.
The Steelers went with the extra point. It's 17-7. Bang.
A rainbow connection to Deontay Johnson. Thank you, Gelati.
Beautiful. Beautiful, man.
They kicked the extra point, which I guess when you score that early, there's still 27 minutes in the second half. I guess we're fine with that. I don't know. Going for two maybe is wrong, right? It's still a 3-score game. Why would you go for two?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as my NBA stuff so far this season. I'm late.
I know. I put you on the spot there on purpose.
No. I'm going to play.
I knew those numbers had moved.
I'm going to play pretty lightly early in the season, and then I would like to do once the NFL starts to wind up. I'd like to do some NBA content, like do like a nightly show or something where we just kind of talk about what happened and get some feedback from the people who are watching it every night, because you can you learn a lot more that way and just talk about what happened. It'd be a lot of fun. So probably at some point do some daily content talking NBA. Yeah,
that would be cool.
The NBA,
I know.
Yeah. Do a little drinking, talk a little ball, do a look at the opening, look at the overnight lines.
What
talk to our friends in Australia who are up for their workday. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, my favorite part was this morning on Brown Bag. I'm like, hey, if you would have paid attention, I put these in the app. You could have got a notification, got the best of the number. Again, didn't matter. Worst of the number, still won in both games. And I said 3:00 today. Lines are coming out. I'm just gonna get after them. I'm gonna check those. I'll put some plays. I forgot all about it. I'm not trained to do overnights quite yet, so
it's tough.
It's tough. I need to get
I'm balls deep in the NBA. I mean the NFL right now, so it's tough. It's tough to really shift focus on the fly. Like this has been a really nice NFL season, and not having the NBA crossover through the month of November and trying to juggle, because it's tough to juggling multiple sports at one time. You could drop the balls and then you're not juggling it at all. So it is a very delicate balance doing two sports at one time for me, just because of how much I put into any given handicap. And I'm going to handle it lightly in the crossover here, because I've been enjoying the NFL season quite a lot. This has been a fun NFL handicap, not just because the last 2 weeks were.
I really enjoyed getting deeper into the NBA during the bubble. I had a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gotten that deep into the season and actually thought about and talked about the games and put together some of my own numbers. So I'm looking forward to this season.
My worst team in the NBA is a very, very, very bad. They could be okay though. I think Detroit is the least inspiring lineup. I think that's pretty solidly an 18-win team. I don't know that there's a ton of upside there or downside really. And I don't really know what the vision for that franchise is. The offseason was weird. I don't know what happens to Blake Griffin. I doubt he plays more than
he's still in the league, huh?
Of the season there. Biggest sleeper of the season, based only on price.
I bet my Mavs to win the West.
Based only on price, the biggest sleeper of the season is the Houston Rockets. They're lined as an under 500 team, which is lunacy. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. I do not think that the Rockets are going to be sub 500 this year. I think
Is this trade happening soon?
It would have to for that to be a fair price. It would have to happen soon.
Even they would get somebody back. Like they'd still have two pretty good players on the roster in a West where they could probably win
3 or 4 games. They have a good roster really overall.
Is Gordon still there?
Yeah. They have let me see. Let's see. They have Gordon.
Look at us just going right to NBA.
Gordon, Tucker, Christian Wood are all solid. House is still there. He's solid. He's a very solid bench contributor. I don't like Ben McLemore a ton, but he'll get meaningful minutes. John Wall.
I love Grish.
Have a nice bounce back season, and Boogie Cousins, obviously. So yeah, Houston has a very solid team around Harden, and I think honestly, I don't think Harden is going to want to trade after they get a little bit of their winning ways going. Another 3 and out for the Pittsburgh defense. It looks like Ryan Finley.
I know this game. The second half started. How the game should have started.
Yeah, Ryan Finley may have turned back into a pumpkin, guys. The
Heat really real? Probably they aren't going to run.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're a good team, but man, like the Heat just went. Who's the Heat check guy from the Rewatchables? With Bill
Dion Waiters.
The Dion Waiters award. They went full Dion Waiters just for the whole playoffs. Like all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler is like clutch at the end of the game, and hero, and just everything was working. Like I don't know if that's sustainable. They'll be fun.
Yeah, I think Bam Adebayo takes a step back. He was amazing in the playoffs.
Oh my God, I forgot about Bam
in the regular season. But this is a fair point. The Brooklyn plays 17 of their first 20 at home. The scheduling is super lopsided, which means priors are probably more important than ever this year. Like there'll be some teams that look terrible out of the Clippers. The Clippers' schedule to start the season is so bad they could reasonably be like 1-9.
And their roster decisions have been puzzling.
Their roster decisions have been puzzling, but just there are just some teams that have very, very, very tough, weird. I love the OG Anunoby. I love that guy. He's going to take a meaningful step forward this year. I hope he gets a decent minute. He might be one. He's like a Robert Covington type of guy, like one of the best kind of on ball defenders you can ask for. Yeah, go ahead.
Does he have a real name, or is it just OG?
He does have. Okay. He does have a real name. It is Ogugwa. OGU.
I like OG better.
Ogugwa Anunoby. He is British Nigerian. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I do know.
He was born in London, England. His parents are Nigerian. His father is Ogugwa Sr.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Nigeria kind of the central? Isn't that the center of basketball when it comes to the world? What was that? Malcolm Gladwell. That was the weirdest thing you've ever sent me. You should retweet that. That was the weirdest interview anyone's.
Yeah,
that was like full Joaquin Phoenix with David Letterman interview. Like, what are you talking about? You're high.
Yeah, that was one where he. Did he do the Bill Simmons podcast? Whatever, he did some podcast and he
was doing something with Bill.
Super high before he did that podcast, and he was not talking a ton of sense.
Just talking lunacy.
Yeah. That interview was a mind trip, absolutely. But yeah, no. In general, the two things you need to know betting NBA season win totals or futures market this year. The Eastern Conference is going to play more of the Western Conference proportionally than they do in a given year. Okay, usually it is a lopsided, unbalanced schedule. You play more of your conference opponents. This year it is more balanced in terms of, which I think hurts a lot of the East and a lot of the bottom of the East because they're so much worse than the West. I mean, it could really,
it helps the middle of the West.
It helps the middle of the West. Yes, you're gonna
them.
have a lot of the middle of the West pad their win totals, whereas the bottom of the East is gonna struggling to get wins this year. So that's kind of my that's of all the theses I have coming into this season, that's the one I would say I feel the most strongly about.
So I feel like some of these teams, like let's say like the 6 through, or maybe even like 5 through 7 teams in the West, maybe be a little inflated in our opinions of them based on their records because of who they played.
Probably true.
And then they're going to face the actual good teams in the West and get the shit kicked out of them.
That's true.
That's
season. True. Your Dallases, your Denvers, your Utahs, your Houstons, your Dallases, your Denvers, your Utahs, your Houstons, your Phoenixes, your who am I forgetting?
Oh my God!
Maybe your New Orleans and your San Antonios too. Your Portlands,
really good point.
Portlands. Yeah,
it's not the NBL of Aussie and New Zealand, but this guy does bring up a pretty good point. Game of runs.
I've seen it
time and time again.
It is a game of runs. It's very, very true.
Obi Toppin, ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. What teams moved besides Toronto? Do you mean like physically moved, like to a different city? Because I think that's the only one.
For now.
Yeah.
For now. I mean, I don't know, like, why did the Niners have to move to Arizona, but the Golden State Warriors get to play in San Francisco? Does that make any sense to you?
I don't understand I don't understand any of the rules. I like that the Rose Bowl is going to be in Texas. We're just winging it out here, man. We're just.
You know what I like? I like Pittsburgh Steelers on the Cincinnati Bengals 27-yard line. Benny Snell just ripped off a 30-yarder. Roethlisberger.
Here's the thing: NFL is a contact sport. I think that actually
sharper in the second half so far.
At first off, I thought Bofa here, which I don't know what Bofa means. I'm gonna have to Google that. I thought he was being glib, but now I honestly think that was like how they wrote it. Like contact sports can't be played, so they'll let like
what?
NBA.
Oh,
no, I honestly
that's how they wrote that?
I think he's actually right.
Even though the NFL is outdoors and the NBA is indoors, that doesn't make shit for sense.
Yeah, and and here's something from Loaf. It was the county.
Oh, it was just Santa Clara County. It wasn't all of the Bay Area.
Not Alameda.
Yeah, I figured it was all the Bay Area. You know who's one of my favorite players tonight? Mr. Benny Snell Jr. He is rumbling.
Stumbling.
Get him into the end zone, man. He deserves it. He's been carrying the load this half. I love it, man.
I visited the Bay Area, and I will say, San Francisco
is not in Santa Clara. That's true.
San Francisco, and then also Napa and Sonoma, much nicer than Oakland. Oakland had its charm. Man. Oakland made me want to lock my doors.
There's some beautiful parts of the East Bay. Beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't hit them.
Absolutely spectacular parts of the East Bay, but downtown Oakland is not a place you want to be after dark.
When I hear East Bay, I hear the awesome catalog that you could buy shoes from. Did they turn the ball over?
No, they just missed a touchdown in the corner of the end zone to Chase Claypool. He got one hand on it, couldn't reel it in. It was OBJ-esque. Third and goal on the 7. Benny Snell could not get it in. I'll take a field goal, but I'd love a touchdown. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if we if travel lightens up again,
I'll definitely. It's beautiful. Piedmont's nice.
I will definitely be visiting the Bay Area again. It was so cold. Like Mark Twain wasn't joking. It was like cold that day, and then it wasn't. But yeah, Napa, my wife, honestly, like. That's just a good way to get laid. Take your wife to Napa. Yeah,
that's a.
They love that. It's like an aphrodisiac. Plus, they're drunk on wine and love.
High leverage play here, guys. Let's punch it. Come on, this is a big one.
Because I was talking about sex. Baby, let's talk about Steelers.
Yo, that was not
great.
One. That was not the call. That was not the play I was looking for. Not a great red zone possession there for The old Pittsburgh Steelers.
What are you going to do?
I mean, we got 10 points, so we're playing with house money, right?
Yeah.
17-10.
Let's go. All right, I'm going to go home.
Let's go. Let's get a defensive score. Let's put a little pressure. I wanted the touchdown because I wanted a little pressure on Ryan Finley to try to force him to make a play, you know?
I think only being up one score now after being up 3 helps. So, all right. Hey, thanks a lot for everybody helping us with stuff, being cool.
Yep.
Stay cool, stay safe, stay healthy, stay horny.
Those are all great tips.
And we'll see. And we're doing one of these on Christmas.
We are?
Vikings, New Orleans.
Oh, by the way, I played the under in that game. If anyone's listening and wanted to know what to play in Saints.
We'll see you on Christmas. You can ignore your family.
On Christmas.
Under 52 is a good look.